Hackers have intensified their attacks on business. Officials at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, are addressing the global security threat. CNET senior producer Dan Patterson has more on the conference.
Cyber attacks and data breaches can cost business and government up to $500,000 per incident. Now, this might not sound like a lot, but this adds up to over $1 trillion annually, according to some estimates. At the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, political and business leaders discussed how the public and private sector can work together to reduce the volume and severity of cyber attacks. I spoke with Hulan Zhao, the Secretary General of the United Nations International Telecommunications Union, about the biggest threat to international cyber stability. His answer was surprising and had little to do with technology.
In my opinion, personal opinion, to this issue. We have to address this issue. We have to solve this issue. But the discussion today sometimes to extend to my personal feeling that there's some kind of polarized debate. ITU started to work on the technology standards to increase the security of our networks. And the famous X509 public key standards was developed by ITU 20 years ago. And we're still working on this together with England for new technology standard to increase our security, but also try to work together at the global level to see how can we make environment much safe.
Now, reducing the impact of hacks, according to the World Economic Forum, will require cooperation between government and business. Without this critical collaboration, the Secretary General believes that the digital world is critically vulnerable. These are things like your smartphone, your smart home, the power grid, and online privacy. And if countries don't get on the same page soon, but it's not all bad news. The Secretary General believes that forums like Davos can bring together business and government to help bring some countries in from the cold Economic Forum.
We're following new developments on that massive hack attack. One top cybersecurity firm issuing a major warning tonight. Let's get to Eamon Javers with all the details. Eamon.
Yeah, Melissa, here's something to keep an eye on as we head into the weekend here. A warning now from Mandiant, their Vice President, John Hultquist, pointing out the possibility now of potential ransomware attacks. Here's his statement. He says, "We are anticipating more exploitation of the exchange vulnerabilities by ransomware actors in the near term. Though many of the still unpatched organizations may have been exploited by cyber espionage actors, criminal ransomware operations may pose a greater risk as they disrupt organizations and even extort victims by releasing stolen emails." So this is all the follow-up to that Microsoft Exchange hack that we saw reported on so extensively last week. Over at the White House today, we saw the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, admitting that the administration is still struggling to get its arms around the scale and scope of this entire hack. Here's what he said.
The United States is grappling with a massive cyber attack. As many as 12 federal agencies have been targeted in what's being called the biggest cyber raid in years. American officials say Russian hackers have been monitoring and reading Washington's confidential emails for months now. How did the cyber attack come to light and what is being done about it? Our next report has the answers.
Hackers have attacked the United States. Federal systems across the country have been compromised. The targets include the U.S. Department of Commerce, the Treasury Department, the Department of Defense, State Department, and National Institutes of Health. The attack was discovered by a cybersecurity company called FireEye. It all began in March. Hackers reportedly inserted malware into software updates that were being sent to government and private sector clients of an IT company called SolarWinds. How many systems were infected? SolarWinds believes it's fewer than 18,000. While news of the breach is out in the open, the scale of the damage has not been ascertained. The question is, who is behind the cyber attack? Some U.S. officials have blamed nation-state hackers. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is pointing a finger at Washington's favorite foe. You guessed it right, Russia. The FBI, or the Federal Bureau of Investigation, called it a quote-unquote significant and ongoing cybersecurity campaign. The Kremlin, on the other hand, has cleared its name from the cyber attack. The Russian embassy in the United States put out this statement in its defense. It says, Russia does not conduct offensive operations in... Well, who is vouching for Russia anyway? Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
New at 6, the search continues for the hacker who tried to poison Oldsmar's water system.
Tonight, new concern the pandemic is increasing the risk of cyber attacks on our critical infrastructure. 8 on your side investigator Masa Saidi has been looking into this threat.
So, Keith, first, it is day 5 of the investigation. The Pinellas Sheriff has not identified any other similar incidents in the county. But tonight, a cybersecurity expert tells me the risk has never been higher.
The FBI and the Secret Service, of course, are undergoing an investigation.
Tonight, the White House responding after an unidentified hacker tried to poison the water supply in Oldsmar. Last week, the system was remotely accessed to dramatically increase the levels of lye, the main ingredient in drain cleaner. While law enforcement officials stressed the public was never at risk, the incident has revealed a vulnerability in critical infrastructures nationwide. Cybersecurity experts aren't just worried about the water, but also nuclear plants, electrical power grids, sewer systems, and more.
I will say, broadly speaking, that the president, the vice president, members of our national security team are focused on elevating cybersecurity as a threat.
While there were exposures before COVID, COVID greatly increased the threat and exposure.
Eric Cole has worked in cybersecurity for 30 plus years. He was once a professional CIA hacker and chief scientist for Lockheed Martin. He says COVID is increasing exposure because more and more employees are working from home.
Because organizations overnight had to survive. Many of these systems that were not directly accessible from the internet are now being directly accessible to make it easier for people to work remotely.
Take Tampa Bay Water, for example. They supply water to more than 2.5 million people in the Bay Area. In a statement, a spokesperson says, quote, during the pandemic, we temporarily provided remote access to a very select few employees. Access requires multiple layers of authentication. Tonight, the mayor of Oldsmar says the city is reevaluating its policy on the continued need for remote access. And Bay Area water supply agencies say there are multiple safeguards in place to protect the public, but experts say local utilities should be double-checking their network security to make sure they haven't left the door open for hackers.
But still pay insufficient attention to... We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack. To use the COVID-19 crisis as a timely opportunity to reflect on the lessons the cybersecurity community can draw and improve our preparedness for a potential cyber pandemic.
Developing story to talk about the U.S. Treasury and Commerce Department among the federal agencies that were victim of a massive cyber attack, the breach believed to be the work of the Russians. And Eamon Javers joins us with the latest. Eamon.
Yeah, good morning to you, Andrew. A lot of developing news over this overnight. But yesterday, what we knew was Reuters reported initially that there was a hack by persons unknown at the Treasury and Commerce Department. What we knew at that time was that they were monitoring email traffic inside Treasury and the Commerce's organization focused on internet policy. That attack led to a National Security Council meeting at the White House on Saturday. The investigations, Reuters reported, by the FBI and others was still in its early stages. Now, later last night, FireEye, the cybersecurity company, put out additional new details on this in several blog posts. They said that the attack was in fact global in scope, hitting public and private institutions around the world. It began by the spring of 2020, so this has been underway for quite some time now. They also said that the attack uses existing IT infrastructure management software that's widely used by companies and government entities to get in. It stealthily gathers information once that malware has been installed. They said that the malware actually lies dormant for about 2 weeks before beginning to gather information and report back. It's all disguised, so it's very difficult to detect. They say this was most likely a nation state. The Russians have said that it wasn't them. They deny responsibility. FireEye says there are a lot of organizations here that have been affected, and they are notifying them all right now. The federal government said overnight last night, Andrew, that they are trying to root this malware out as quickly as they can. They've ordered all federal agencies to stop using the software in question here and to make sure that this malware is stopped in its tracks. But there's a lot here that we still don't know, Andrew.
All right, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. It's the brother Bakalah Wallam here with a hopefully an edifying video to edify the body of YAHAWAHSHI, YAHAWAHSHI, Rakakadash. But first and foremost, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashim, YAHAWAHSHI, Bahashim, Rakakadash. And I want to give double honors to the great men, to the elders and apostles that I learned this truth from, the great men of GMS, and the brothers with a like-minded doctrine. And I want to say shalom to the Akim and the Aqua that's listening and learning. And I just got a video here. Well, there should be a couple more. There's gonna be a couple videos before this one that shows the threat, the potential threat of a cyber attack or cyber attack events happening before this this colonial pipeline happened. And I just want to point some things out before we get to that, and also that I guess the top guy at the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, he said the next pandemic could be a major cyber attack. You know, that's the next pandemic. So I'm gonna let this video right here play, and then I'm gonna get into some scriptures.
John, I can confirm that Colonial Pipeline did in fact pay a ransom. This according to a source familiar with the situation. Colonial Pipeline paying a ransom to the criminal hackers who shut down their systems last week. Now, this source familiar with the situation not telling me how much Colonial Pipeline paid or when that payment specifically was made. There's some reporting out there from other outlets in conflicting directions on the outlet reporting that happened on Monday. Other outlets are putting a specific dollar figure around that payment as well. My source familiar with the situation simply confirming here that Colonial Pipeline did in fact pay that ransom, but no dollar figure or date associated with it. Meanwhile, we saw the President of the United States asked today whether or not he had been briefed on the fact that Colonial Pipeline paid a ransom. The President declined to comment on it, so you get some sense of the sensitivity around this question of whether or not a U.S. entity had to pay folks in Russia in order to get access back to one of the major strategic pieces of infrastructure on the east coast of the United States. But that said, a source familiar with the situation now confirming that ransom was in fact paid, John.
So we know they paid at this point, Eamon. Do we know how they paid, in what currency, what form of currency they paid?
So I just played a little bit of that, but I want to get into the scriptures. See, like, this all ties in. If you, this all is, well, they're trying to basically trying to make things expedient towards this digital society that they're trying to bring in, the digital society or the Internet of Things. you know. And there's also, I have I'll put the video in the description box. That there's a also there's a thing called human hacking, or hacking, human hacking. That means like they trying to, that's with this nanotechnology that they have out, and wanting to basically put devices in you. Devices means chips in people's body that can be easily hacked. So everything is going digital. They trying to push everything digital. That's digital currency. Everything is if everything is digitalized, you'll be you yourself will be even vulnerable to cyber attacks itself. The video that I'm gonna leave in the description box, the narrator he he basically states that with these devices placed in you, you can be easily hacked and held for ransom. And if you can't, and he made a statement like, if you can't pay the ransom, they can just take over your body and make you like sick, ill, or control your control bodily functions, or control your bodily functions. So this is like madness. This is I want to bring out Second Thessalonians 2. Just the madness of Esau, Edom, the wicked. This is his society. This is his world. The prince of this world, which is the devil, none other than Esau, Edom. You know, I want to bring in Second Thessalonians, two, Second Thessalonians 2:7. And it reads, "For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with his spirit, Salakia, shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." So that when going back to verse 7, this is the mysteries of iniquity, that he's doing all these this iniquity behind the scenes. He's basically in these laboratories. They getting all these unthinkable things. Like even to your, like I bring this out a lot. Even to the foods, like the GMO foods. They trying to create your crops. They trying to grow your meats, your beef. They trying to create even to these viruses. There's information out there now. There's undeniable facts of information that even this virus that's out is man-made too. Even the politicians or the Republicans. I know the Republican side of this government, U.S. government, they have no they are not denying that this C virus is man made, which originated from, they say, which it originated from Wuhan, China. And also they create the cure for it, which is the Maxine Waters. That's created in the laboratory. So everything that involves around this man, he's trying to play, just like the scripture said, he set himself in the seat of God, trying to play the Most High instead of going by the process or the commandments and ordinances that YAHAWAHSHI has set before us to use to live on this planet, live on Earth. He go about and do it his own way. He trying to come up with his own solutions, playing the Most High. And I want to bring out keep reading, Salakia. I'm gonna start over. 2 Thessalonians 2:7, and it reads, "For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders." That him, that's a human being. You know, he's coming in the likeness. Um, he's coming in the likeness in a working, which, you know, your deeds. He's coming in the workings of Satan. You know, he's not obeying. Satan means adversary. You know, he's an adversary to YAHAWAHSHI YAHAWAHSHI, and he contrary to everything that YAHAWAHSHI YAHAWAHSHI has established. You know, his whole ideology is antichrist. You know, and there's many antichrists out. You know, through his working, there's many antichrists in working. Reading on, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause Yahweh shall send them strong delusions, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. So that's for basically for our people that's denying the truth, that's basically scoffing, mocking, you know, coming against the truth, coming against the men that's out there speaking the truth. Um, you know, you're gonna the Most High gonna send you strong delusions that you do believe that you will believe this demon. You're gonna believe whatever he presents out there as true, and you're gonna just fall for it because you denying the truth, denying the truth of his word. You know, the truth, which is the word of YAHAWAHSHI YAHAWAHSHI, which is his Bible. I want to bring out also in second Ezra 16. Second Ezra 16. 16 and 5, and it reads, "The plagues are sent the plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood, or may any one quench the fire in stubble when it has begun to burn?" See, that's what it is. The plagues are sent. That's like something is happening back to back. Like, you know, it's this. It was for example, you know, what happened? I think it was a chicken shortage or a poultry shortage. You know, then it was a gas shortage. You know, then you got this thing with 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 trying to think. You're having people being flooded. You know, like natural disasters are happening. Like there's in certain states, people are being flooded. You know, there's innumerable things that the scriptures talk about that that's happening. People are these the symptoms or side effects of taking this Maxine waters. People are dying or having major side effects. Um, the Maxine, I mean the C virus itself, you know, is a plague. Um, these cyber attacks is happening. They you know what I'm saying? That's a plague. That's events, plagues are happening. There's a lot of stuff going on all over the world. There's other countries that are being flooded, like China. They have been flooded, been hailstorms and Salakia, dust storms in like places like Saudi Arabia, and there's been flooding happening over there too, and like a lot of strange weather, earthquakes and volcanoes has been erupting, you know. And I'm just read on, starting back at 6. May any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire in stubble when it had already begun to burn. May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. The mighty powers sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? So that ultimately talks about the nuclear destruction, the nuclear destruction that's going to happen to Babylon the Great, aka America. You know, and I want to get this in Isaiah 30:3. Isaiah 30:3, and it reads, Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. So that's what's happening. And plus this Bitcoin thing too. I forgot about that. The economic side of this, the economy is collapsing. You know, there's inflation going on. It's about to be soon hyperinflation. You know, prices are slowly rising. Um, um, just like our people, they trusting in the strength of Pharaoh, which they trusting in his government, which or your modern day Pharaoh is the president of Babylon the Great, which is AKA America. You know, they trust in the strength of Pharaoh. They think this government, the president, going to supply their solutions for them instead of and that's the Yahweh says. Yahweh Bahashim YAHAWAHSHI said that'll be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt, which is the shadow of death. You know, your confusion, and that's perfect. That goes along perfect because Babylon means confusion. So when you trust in this guy, you trust in this system, you trust in what these people trust in what the demons say. You know, they're gonna you gonna be you're gonna be left there in a confused state. And the scripture also says that whoever consent will be had in derision and trodden under foot. Whoever consent in this man will be had in derision and trodden under foot. So more likely, without a doubt, they're going to make it mandatory to in order to go about your daily life routine, shopping, work, your employment. Is going to be mandatory that you take this Maxine Waters, but in order to live a normal life, so to speak. You know, like right now, they're not really trying to they trying to coerce people to do it, coercive persuasion. They trying to coerce people to do it, and people are lining up because they have no patience, you know, and plus they don't trust in the higher power, which is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So they putting their trust in Egypt, and they want things to go back to normal. Like the scripture said, like a lot of brothers bring out, folly is set in great dignity. They want to get back to their bread and circus. They want to get back to the bread and circus, this lifestyle of entertainment, which is that goes along great too, cause this is spiritually Rome too. You know, if you even look at the infrastructure, a White House, for example, you look like the structure of buildings. They mimic the structure of how the buildings were built in Rome, the Colosseums and all that. They got the stadiums here, the sports stadiums, like your football stadiums and all that. They're built like, or you know, for example, they built like this Colosseums of Rome. You know, because and this is all leading into also transhumanism. You know, people are you being they trying to gradually, because that's what the devil used, subtlety. Subtlety is a graduation of things. You gradually move in a certain direction. You know, people are not considering what's really going on, while they gradually pulling you through the wickedness of the policies and unrighteous decrees that this country has. And I think I want to get and since I'm bringing that out, I want to bring out Second Timothy 3 and 3, and I got that here. Second Timothy 3 and 3. Yeah, Second Timothy 3 and 1. I'm gonna start at the top, and it reads, "No, Salakia, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection." That's basically what I want to get into, without natural affection. Well, the definition of that, without natural affection. The Greek word is
Strong's G 794. Astargas. Astargas.
astaglas. If you go down to the biblical usage, you see it says without natural affection, unsociable, Slakia, unsociable, and this word right here, inhuman. That's what I want to get into, inhuman. I'm gonna look up the definition of inhuman. See, inhuman, it says, the first definition says lacking human qualities or of compassion or mercy, cruel or barbaric. You know, that's happening too, because basically this government doesn't care about your rights, doesn't care about how you feel. All your rights is out the window. You basically, it's in a draconian, it's a draconian law, it's a draconian measures, draconian laws. And what I really want to focus on the second definition, and it says not human in nature or character. See, that's what I want to focus on, not human in nature. See, and that goes along to what's happening too, that transhumanism. They slowly but surely, gradually trying to transition you into a, a cyborg, a cyborg state of mind. And there's also a video out that I know I seen on YouTube. There's a guy that says talks about transhumanism, of downloading their personality on a disc, and the whole everything basically becomes robotic. Like everything becomes robotic. And they said if there are any humans around, they're gonna be basically just slaves or pets. So they put in robotics. They put robots above the humans. This guy, this maniac, this Edomite. That's what he states. He stated that in this video. I just can't remember. I can't find the video. I got to go back and find it. But that's exactly what the guy said. That basically they trying to transition to everybody become robots, and if there are any humans left, they'll just be simply pets or slaves. That is madness, bro. That's straight madness. Just and since I said that, I want to also bring out that Mark Mark 13 Mark 13 and Mark 13 and 20. Mark 13 and 20, and it reads, "And except that the Lord has shortened those days, no flesh shall be saved, but for the elect's sake, whom he have chosen, he have shortened the days." Like if YAHAWAHSHI haven't shortened these days, there won't be no flesh. You can see it. You know what I'm saying? You can see it right now. So they creating these viruses, wiping people out, depopulation. And then on top of that, they're trying to transform you into a goddamn. And they're trying to transform you into some type of robot, cyborg, cyborg, to eventually probably all robotic, complete robotic, man. Like these people, like that's what the scripture says. Like if Yahweh Shem Yahushai haven't shortened the days, no flesh should be saved. But I hope the body of Yahweh Shem Yahushai was edified through this lesson. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rakakadas, and again double honors to the men that I learned this truth from, the great men at GMS, and the brethren with the like-minded doctrine, and shalom to all the Akim and the Aqua listening and learning, and why Abab Ball.